Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you are all having an incredible day. To start things off, people were asking me yesterday why I did not talk about this yesterday. It was mainly because I had seen this news on, I believe, one website, and typically what I've seen before in my line of work, when news about one thing is on one website, it is sometimes false. However, this news is basically all over the place right now, so we can actually talk about it. And without further ado, a federal court ruled against Craig Wright yesterday in the year-long multi-billion-dollar case. Craig Wright was dealt a second blow in the defeat, as the judge also demanded he hand over half of his Bitcoin holdings. Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhardt recommended that Wright turn over half of his BTC holdings and intellectual property to the estate of the plaintiff, Dave Kleiman. According to reports, the ruling followed a contempt hearing in the suit, which began over a year ago. Kleiman was Wright's former business partner, who passed away in April 2013. His brother Ira accused the Satoshi impersonator, that is Craig Wright, of defrauding the family of their rightful claim to 1.1 million Bitcoin. For those who have no idea exactly what's going on or what I'm talking about, or you may even be relatively new to the space, everyone else who's been here for at least a year knows this story. This guy right here is one of about 50 people on this planet who claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto, who is the creator of Bitcoin. Part of the issue is that no one thus far has been able to prove without a shadow of a doubt that they are indeed Satoshi Nakamoto. We had news reports before earlier this year that this guy on the screen, Craig Wright, apparently had spoken with lawyers, friends, news reporters as well, took them into a private room, I'm not joking, and gave them the proof that he was Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, and they believed it, and they went and spread this information and told everyone that he was indeed Satoshi Nakamoto. And part of the problem is that many other people within the cryptocurrency space kept on saying, if you are Satoshi Nakamoto and you're making a really big deal out of having created Bitcoin, why not just show everyone the proof? Why just show 5 people in a room, including yourself, to let them know that you're Satoshi Nakamoto, as opposed to the entire world, which are claiming to do so in court. So, what ended up happening was that he, and I'll go through it because I promise you, it only gets better as we go along. The judge recommended that 50% of Wright's, this guy's, Bitcoin holdings mined before the 31st of December 2013 be handed over to the Kleiman estate. Judge Reinhardt did not find Wright to be credible, but also did not make a ruling on whether his claims to be the Bitcoin creator were worthy. The lawsuit also alleged that Wright holds several Bitcoin funds, including the infamous Tulip Trust, which supposedly contains around 1 million BTC mined by Nakamoto. Part of this guy's claims, Craig Wright, is that not only is he Satoshi Nakamoto, but that he did so by himself, and I think apparently other people who could have been part of the project were not there. Therefore, it is just him. On top of that as well, he said that as he had been mining Bitcoin since the very beginning, that he was in possession of over, so saith him, 1 million Bitcoin. Of the entire supply, that he owns it, he controls it, it's all of his. And he has it locked up in something called the Tulip Trust. Part of what the Tulip Trust is that he says at some point he planned on dumping all of his Bitcoin holdings and potentially pushing that into BSV, that is Bitcoin Cash, Satoshi's Vision, the cryptocurrency that he created, and claiming that it was the real Bitcoin. Still with me? It is estimated that the funds could be worth as much as $5 billion US, and the fear is that the plaintiff may now flood the market with his stash in order to liquidate it rapidly. This is everywhere. This is, like I said, I made sure that this was true and that I could find information on it. Part of the problem that we have with the entire court case, and this is why he was had the ruling against him, is that throughout the court case, allegedly, as I was not in the room, this is the information that we have received multiple times through different news agencies, websites, as the lawsuit was going on. Every single time that the judge in this case kept on telling Craig Wright that he had to submit evidence that he was indeed Satoshi Nakamoto, he kept on giving paperwork, giving documents, giving so and so and so. But very simple things were easy. You could easily tell that something had been forged, had been changed, had simply been modified in order to make it look as if they were actually trustworthy. Case in point, this one right here, he gave the judge a document from 2012 that had a copyright from 2015, meaning that the document was made around 2015 and therefore couldn't have been made around the time of 2012. We also saw one of the major things that kind of got a big rise out of everyone within the cryptocurrency community. It's one thing to claim that you are the creator of something. Like I said, we have had a multitude of people. There was just someone about a week and a half ago from Iran who also claimed that he was the Bitcoin creator, and people were asking me once again why I didn't talk about a Bitcoin creator finally coming out. It's because since I've been in the cryptocurrency space, it's been about a good 6 years and some change. Multiple people have done this, and even the guy from, I believe it was Iran, said that it was actually him and his wife, and he couldn't really explain why they had created it. I think he said because he used to work for a bank, and the bank closed down, had a tarnished reputation, and therefore he took some letters of the bank's name, which was like a good 38 letters long, and found the words Bitcoin within the name of it, and therefore this is how he created Bitcoin. Part of what Craig Wright said, he was told by the judge to prove that he indeed was in possession of over 1 million Bitcoin. He said, no problem, got it, cool, let's do it. And he handed this to the judge, and it was a list of an enormous amount of addresses that all had 53,000 Bitcoin, 3,700 Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin, 10,000 Bitcoin, 23,249 Bitcoin. Handed it to the judge. Part of the problem is that within the cryptocurrency space, especially because everything in this space is running on blockchain and things can be easily verified, someone came forward and said, that's not your address, that's my address. And they came forward and actually did a digital signature on the blockchain to prove that it was actually theirs. And they signed the actual, one of the addresses that he said was his, with their own thing. And he said, Craig is a liar and a fraud. This happened multiple times over the exact same week, where other people were figuring out not only did he not own these addresses, he was simply using some of the very early addresses that actually appeared on the blockchain, i.e. what he did was him and maybe someone else, allegedly, as far as we know, once again, we were not in the courtroom, scrolled back as far as possible to find the earliest, largest Bitcoin addresses, and they simply copied and pasted them to a piece of paper that showed these numbers. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's you can't say that you are something that can be easily disproved. And part of the fact that there are still people on this planet who believe or trust Craig Wright. And I mean, how much evidence do you need to stop following someone who's clearly, allegedly, clearly lying? Here's the actual court case right here. It is on courtlistener.com. Not affiliated. It is Kleiman v. Wright. If you scroll down, you can actually see the entire court case and everything that went through it. You can even download the PDFs, and it goes all the way down to the very end of the court case, right around here, August 27th, and the transcript. And I mean, everything is basically here. So if you are curious, by all means, please read through the entire thing. Part of the issue that we have right now, and you may have noticed, is that yesterday, Bitcoin's price, Bitcoin was at 9,800 about 3 or 4 days ago, and then Bitcoin shot up to around $10,500. And then a couple of hours later, Bitcoin's price started slowing or going down, and I think it's also still going down. Why, you might ask? Is because immediately after he lost the court case, Craig Wright came forward and said and told everyone that the people, Kleiman, the people who had won, planned on dumping the, I believe it's around $2.5 billion worth of Bitcoin that they're going to receive onto the market. And what you end up having is someone trying to elicit fear in the market because they've been proven wrong. And I don't even have the actual tab open, and I should have. About a day or two ago as well, Craig Wright, once again, I believed he either filed the patent for it, or I think he republished Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper as his own, and I think a scientific magazine. I can't remember exactly where it is. So for those of you who are wondering why the price of Bitcoin went down a tiny bit yesterday, it was based on this fear that Craig Wright instilled in the market. He told people that around 500,000 Bitcoin, 500,000 BTC were going to flood the market, and therefore the prices would go down. It's a last-ditch effort I wish we could say that we would never hear from him again, but I'm almost, if you have the audacity to continue claiming that you're Satoshi Nakamoto when you can't prove it to anyone, I mean, it's relatively easy. We had a situation about a year and some change ago where Vitalik Buterin was thought to be dead, and he took a photo of himself holding up the current hash of Ethereum. Everything's possible within the cryptocurrency space. Part of the issue that we have now is that I'm pretty sure that this, first of all, when someone or anyone prominent within any space says something, other people are going to react to it, whether it be negatively or positively. And the fact that he even said this, and the fact that it's now going through many different cryptocurrency websites, they're talking about, could there be a fall in price because of the climate estate selling off their Bitcoin? First of all, that's not how court cases work. I'm pretty sure he won't have to give them their money within the next day. That's not how things work, especially within the United States. It takes a very long time. And even then, one can only assume that if this family does come into possession of 500,000 Bitcoin, which is even more of a huge question mark because we still don't know if he actually is in possession of 1 million Bitcoin. He's never been able to prove so. Think about that. As long as this court case has been going on, he's never to anyone been able to prove that he holds 1 million Bitcoin. Not on a computer. You know how easy it would be to have someone pick up an iPhone, have him sit in front of the iPhone, open his laptop, go into his desktop wallet, his old Bitcoin wallet. We could all sit there and watch the entire blockchain load on the Bitcoin core thing just to see exactly if he had 1 million Bitcoin on his computer. He has not done anything. He even gave fake documents to a judge. And we know that at least several of these addresses are not his, and therefore he has less than 1 million Bitcoin. The entire point being is that there is fear in the market now that they're going to dump their Bitcoin. I would assume they're probably not going to relatively anytime soon. It does not seem logical that they would do so. The point being, like I said, to get off this topic, because it just makes me very annoyed that people are able to do things like this and influence other people and allegedly lie to them and tell them false statements that they then get other people to believe. You know how many people have screamed at me before telling me that Bitcoin Cash, Satoshi's vision, is the real Bitcoin, and therefore I am doing a disservice to my listeners and watchers by telling them that the number one coin is the fake Bitcoin and therefore no one should be using it. Or even more so, I think one of the greatest parts of the entire Bitcoin hard fork saga has been that none, any of the other Bitcoin forks has even come close to Bitcoin in price, market cap, volume, nothing. Every single one of them, when they were created, we were told, once again, for those of you who've been here for that long, we were told that all of these coins were going to surpass Bitcoin. You can find the articles. Look up. You can even find stuff on Bcash, where Roger Ver kept on saying that I think it was by the end of 2017 that Bcash would be the number one coin. I think he also said it by the end of 2018 Bcash would be the number one coin. Sure. The point is, the court case is over. The ruling was in the plaintiff's favor. The people who are actually saying, hey, he stole from us. And yeah, without further ado, let's move on. Next up, Parity, a blockchain infrastructure company that runs the core of the Ethereum network, is delaying the Ethereum core devs plan hard fork until the 6th of September. Etherworld founder Pooja Ranjan provided notes from the Ethereum core devs meeting number 69 via GitHub on the 24th of August, a day after the dev meeting occurred. According to the Parity core developer Wai Tang, the organization needs 2 more weeks before devs can proceed in selecting a block number for the Istanbul fork. According to Ranjan's notes, Tan said that Parity will need until the 6th of December for this implementation. He said, we need until the 6th of September to finish the implementation, not only because we accepted EIPs late, but right now we just happen to be a large code base refactoring, and we probably want to merge them first before merging Istanbul's EIP. One of the upshots of the meeting is that the block number for the hard fork will occur after Parity's implementation is complete. The devs decided on the 6th of September as a deadline for the groups to implement their Ethereum improvement proposals, or EIPs. Additionally, they decided that a mainnet hard fork will only occur after a testnet block number is picked, and that the mainnet fork may be delayed. Ethereum can't handle many more delays. I think, this is my own personal opinion, like I said, I give them to the end of this year. By the end of 2019, we are supposed to have or know the exact dates of the other 3 main updates. Apparently, one is happening on the 6th of September. I think there's also another one happening in October. And I believe we should have Ethereum 2.0 by January 3rd of 2020. Someone said in the comment section the other day that it was actually January 1st. Even better. The delays have gotten a bit delayful. It's too many of them back to back. We've had far too many of them. Let's hope that this actually does happen on the 6th of September. We had delays for the last update as well. I think it was delayed by a month. So let's hope that this actually gets off the ground because, yeah, you know how I feel about all of this. I love Ethereum, but come on, you got to move it. Next up, IOTA is in the news. IOTA and Jaguar Land Rover are currently working together in order to explore distributed ledger technology solutions related to the economy of things and the Internet of Things. This is according to a press release shared by IOTA just a few hours ago. As IOTA informed in a recent tweet, they will be exploring the potential of blockchain technology for IoT and smart cities during an event at the NTNU in Norway. IOTA is working with the blockchain technology for the IoT and the EOT, and it is currently working with a large number of companies around the world. Jaguar Land Rover has been working with IOTA for a very long time. For example, they announced earlier this year that they were developing an IoT-based car smart wallet to secure and monetize data exchanges with its vehicle. The goal is to achieve their Destination Zero goal of 0 accidents, 0 congestion, and 0 emissions. This is why innovation plays an important role in helping the firm develop its strategy and improving its presence in the market. Kind of cool. Let me actually open the press release right here. Oh, it's on Twitter. Still waiting for it to load. There we go. Kind of interesting. Just about 3 weeks ago, I was talking not negatively about IOTA, but it was more like we don't really hear a lot about them. I guess it's the Norwegian University of Science and Technology. Kind of cool. Let's see exactly how this ends up going. The last week or so, IOTA has been in the news multiple times about their partnerships. Maybe they heard me. Maybe they got upset at me. Sorry, kind of. Yeah. Thus far, IOTA has been partnering with a number of car companies. And I guess this may be a branching off from their original intent. It's kind of cool. And I wonder exactly how far this is going to go. I think the major thing would be if we get any type of... So the idea is that the Internet of Things, where everything is connected, your phone's connected to your wallet's connected to your cup of coffee, you understand what I'm saying? Everything digital is kind of connected, especially within your home. When we start getting indications that they're going, first of all, there is going to happen. When we start getting IoT cities where everything is kind of interconnected, hyper-connected, everything is futuristic, and someone announces that they're using IOTA / the Tangle for it, that's going to be a big turning point. Thus far, IOTA's not really performing that well, but I mean, to be fair, there are multiple other coins out there who are gathering an enormous amount of partnerships and their prices also aren't moving. Could just be the stagnation of the market. However, it's nice to see that IOTA is still doing well. That even behind the scenes, if they're not in the news every single day with some type of hype information or hype news, or that they're doing this, or that they're going to have that, or this is going to be updated, that they're actually making the partnerships behind the scenes. And yeah, without further ado, let us move on. There we go. Next up, the Kerala Blockchain Academy, or the KBA, a government initiative under the Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management, is now a general partner of R3. Local news outlet The Economic Times reported on the 27th of August that New York-based enterprise blockchain firm R3 chose the KBA as a general partner. According to the article's author, the Academy already designed a upper certification program on the firm's core to blockchain, meant for banking and technology professionals. I didn't even want to, speculate. Whenever R3, Corda, and India are in the same sentence, there are a lot of people, I'm pretty sure, who are quite excited about that. Per the report, KBA is the first government institution in India which offers a Corda blockchain development program. Moreover, the initiative also provides in-person training on technologies such as Hyperledger and Ethereum for those who do not know. Once again, to reiterate, every single time that we hear about Ethereum, except for when they're late with their upgrades, is that a government or some type of other mega institution will be using Ethereum. This only strengthens my idea that Ethereum is going to continue to be large. It's more so they just need, at the moment Ethereum is able to handle over 500 transactions per second, I assume it'll do incredibly well. I dare not say 1 million or even 100,000 transactions per second. I think once we get past 500, this is a pretty good number for you to be able to handle people sending files and data back and forth. I think it'll be pretty okay. It would be nice to have it higher. While being a hostile environment for cryptocurrency and enthusiasts, India has been more open towards blockchain. It was, for instance, recently reported that the government of the Indian state of Maharashtra is preparing a regulatory sandbox for testing blockchain solutions across various applications. I'm fairly certain, I think that India is going to implement some type of a cryptocurrency ban. I could be completely wrong, but the writing on the wall shows that this is what they're going to do. I was listening to a podcast yesterday. I have to figure out the name of this one podcast. Andreas Antonopoulos is always on it. It's very fascinating to hear what he has to say. And the other, I think it's another 2 guys and a girl. And they discuss what they think is happening within the cryptocurrency space and how things could evolve from the current position where we currently see it. And it looks like to them that India is probably going to have a hard ban on cryptocurrencies, but have an open book for blockchain. Anything, because blockchain by many countries around the world has been touted as a way to kind of not get more control by a government, but when everything is connected to the IoT or to a blockchain and governments have control over that blockchain, they can then see everything that's happening within that blockchain. So I think India will, I don't know. It's a very weird line because we know that many companies have partnered with India, have partnered with Indian banks, and that there are people within the government who would like to see cryptocurrencies be legal, but I think they are too afraid of losing any power that they might have. This is just based off of what I've read. Anyway, without further ado, the Indian blockchain cryptocurrency story continues. Next up, to kind of finish things off, Calibra, a digital currency wallet built by Facebook, is beefing up its compliance team as the company tries to convince US and European regulators that the social media giant's Libra project poses no legal threat. I mean, it's not the legal threat. Who cares about the legal threat? It's about them becoming the largest bank in the world. Now is bringing that conviction to the fore by hiring for a new compliance team, to manage the many legal pitfalls it will face. For example, the company is looking for a specialist that will lead the identification and analysis of our regulatory requirement and creates policies, procedures, and controls to ensure Calibra is fully compliant with all sanctions requirements. The sanctions lead will be working with Calibra's legal and policy teams, interact with Facebook's partners, as well as government agencies and regulators to ensure the product complies with worldwide requirements. Facebook is also looking for an additional brain power to enforce Calibra's general legal compliance efforts. One posting for a Bank Secrecy Act anti-money laundering BSA/AML leader calls for a skilled banking executive to ensure Calibra's policies are designed to comply with BSA/AML related laws and regulations globally without reading any further. A lot of people think that Libra isn't going to make it, isn't going to even launch. I was listening to it was very odd. It was like a normal money podcast yesterday. It was kind of weird. I like listening to what's it called? Like those where oh gosh, mumbling like crazy. Those podcasts where they talk about real estate. I enjoy them for some reason. I like hearing stories about people who have acquired 500 properties. I find them fascinating. But there was one I was listening to yesterday where they were mainly discussing for some reason, Calibra and Facebook, and if they thought it was going to launch, and for some reason they didn't think so, but they weren't also very deep in the cryptocurrency space. I'm fairly certain this is going to happen. I think if it had been squashed, I think it would have been completely done already. But they're making an enormous amount of efforts to make sure that things continue going. Facebook is also launching a bug bounty, which pretty much means that they're not hiring people, but you can look through their code for what they're trying to do and see if you find any mistakes, any bugs, any errors in their code. And if you find them, they'll give you a maximum of $10,000 for each thing that you find. This was also a thing, and this isn't just something that only Facebook is doing. This happens on every single blockchain, whether they be open or closed bug bounties. They happen fairly often. There was one on Tron last year. I think there was one on EOS before they launched. This happens relatively often, but I also don't think they would have launched a bug bounty on Libra or Calibra if they didn't plan on doing this. And also at the very end of it as well, it says Libra's association crypto members remain unfazed by regulatory backlash. They don't really care. It's not about, I think a lot of people confuse them trying to launch a coin with them being a social media platform. Facebook isn't trying to create something just so they can say, oh yeah, we did it first. We're like Bitcoin. We're cool. We're awesome. They're doing it because they understand the implications of them doing this. They understand that not only are they rich, but if they control, or rather, if they can get 2.4 million people maximum across their multiple platforms to start using something that they have, they then become the largest bank in the entire world. And by default, they end up, other countries will then have to go to them for loans or if they need money. You then become one of the largest entities in the entire world. It's kind of how, like, for those of you who were not here, maybe just don't remember, years ago, when nobody thought, when nobody thought that Apple was going to become big, when nobody thought that Amazon was going to become anything more than a bookseller, you kind of stay in the shadows and do what you need to do to kind of build yourself up. They're doing this very openly because I think that they know, they're not idiots. They know exactly what they're doing, and they've probably spoken to people for a very long time about all of this, exactly what they would need to do and how they would have to go about this. They knew, I'm certain that they knew that they would have to talk to regulators. I'm pretty sure all of this is planned. They know exactly where the money has to go and exactly how they're going to end up doing this. There's no doubt in my mind that this is going to launch. It may be delayed a bit, but I definitely don't see Facebook backing down from, you understand what that means to be the largest bank in the world, to be probably the largest, strongest global entity on this planet. Like, there will be nothing that will be able to fight against them. They will be the biggest thing that we've ever had on this planet. And this is why regulators are saying that they're afraid. But this is also why the Facebook isn't going to back down, and they're definitely going to be launching this. I think the time frame for this is still 2020. I thought it was the beginning of 2020, but I would not be surprised if it gets pushed back or kind of middle of 2020. Anyway, that's what's happening on that front. But I'm getting a lot of people saying, I mean, first of all, I'm not for Libra. I don't really, I'm never going to use Libra, and I don't want other people using it, but it's more like, I think it's a bit foolish to think that Facebook is going to back down when doing this. They're going to launch it regardless of if regulators want it or not. And just to be realistic, we know how life works. We know how politicians work. If you wave enough money in front of their face, or even tell them, you can have a piece of the pie, or you can start working with so-and-so, or we'll have you on our management team and we'll pay you $1 million per year to help us get this launched within your country, they're going to do it. That's just how the cookie crumbles. That's just how things work. Anyway, as always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Adam Krasik, Mohair Maroney, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Woody and Daisy, Triple M and J, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mill Weezy, JR, Mechanic, Strange Radio Central, Crypto Artist, Goldie 3D, Cryptopolis, Nicholas One Earth, One Piece, One Love, Damien, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto Beer Shipmate, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, and Miller Hitch Chest Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Thank you very much for your support. At the moment, the market is still all over the place. We're still in this weird trading range type area. Here's the dip that occurred because of the entire Craig Wright fiasco. No one knows. That's really it. You have to ask yourself, Or rather, what would you do in that situation if you were in possession of something that your father passed away for? Would you sell it? If you were in dire need of money, I don't think there's in my view, I don't think there's a situation where I would acquire 500 million Bitcoin that I would sell off more than 1,000. That's still a good, was that $10 million? I think I'd be fine with that for a couple of years. And even more so, I would hate to be one of those people who sold off 500 million Bitcoin, and then each Bitcoin ends up going up to around 300,000, $500,000. Anyway, I guess as time will unfold, as time goes on, we'll be able to see exactly what ends up happening. Yeah. You want to see how irrational the market is and how the market just makes no sense? SV is green. That's like you seeing someone cheating on a test, and you know that they're cheating on the test, and you still give them an A. You go, it's fine, they didn't mean to do so. It's so frustrating. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. I hope we have a really intense cleansing of the cryptocurrency market very soon. I was hopeful that by this point, many other fraudulent coins would have completely collapsed. But people like to follow people who they know are lying, even when all the evidence is there. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.